Next topic we're going to learn is condition statements and loops. So these are the control statements we're going to learn about all those things. So what falls under control statements are if-else statement, switch statement, while loop, do while loop, for loop, jump statements, break statements, continue statements, go to statements. We're going to see each and everything. Firstly we'll just explain, then we'll go to VS Code and we'll see each and everything one by one. All right, so what does control statements means in C? Control statements are the statements that after the flow of execution and provide better control to the programmer on the flow of execution. They're useful to write better and more complex programs. A program executes from top to bottom, except when we use control statements, we can control the order of the execution of the program based on the logics and values. So conditional statements, we can see if statement, if else statement, and if else or ladder, we can say, or switch statements are used. So this control statements basically divided in three parts. One is selection statements, iterative statements, and jumping statements. So this all four comes under the selection statements. If else statement, switch, this all things come under the selection statement. Similarly, iterative statement we're going to use. There we're going to learn about while loop, for loop, do while loop. And third kind of control statement that is there is jumping statements. There we're going to use break, continue, and return. Those things we're going to see. Now first thing we're going to talk about if statement. What is that if statement, right? So an if statement consists of a boolean expression which is to be evaluated to be a boolean value. What does it mean is if statement will only be executed when it is true, otherwise it will not be executed. If the value is true, then the block is executed, otherwise next statement would be executed. So this is how the flow chart of it. So condition is going to there. If it is true, then this block is going to be executed. If it is false, then it's going to end the, it's going to skip this block of statement. So this is what if statement is. Similarly, with if, else statement also comes into the picture. So what does else statement means? So if else statement consists of two statements, if statement and else statement. When the expression in an if statement is evaluated to be true, the block is executed. Otherwise, else block will be executed. What we studied in the previous if statement is that this condition is there. If it is true, then this block will be executed, this blue block. If it is false, there we were ending the program, that this block will not be executed and will be ending the program in the previous example we are seeing. But when we write if else together, then if it is not true, then else block will be executed. So this is going to be happening here. So if else statements covers yes and no part, right? If it is true, it is going to be executed. The if conditions, whatever blocks inside this, whatever the code blocks, definitions is there. Otherwise, the else statement's code block will be executed. We're going to see each and everything. What does it mean in our program one by one. Similarly, there can be multiple conditions. There we use else if conditions. So we write if, definitely one if and else will be there. And if there are multiple conditions are there, then we're going to use else if conditions. So this is going to be used there. So here we can see the statement which means the result would be executed. If this condition is not satisfied, it will check for this one. If this is not, it will check for this one. Whichever is satisfied, that will be executed. That condition will be executed. When no condition meets the result, the default else statement would be executed, that we know. If none of the conditions are satisfied, then else block at the last will be executed, because if these all are false, then else is going to be executed, that we know. This is what if else conditions and ladder statements. Now we're going to go to the VS Code and we're going to see the examples of if else and all the else if ladder statements. Then after that we'll jump to the switch statement, what is the definition of that, and we're going to see examples of that also. Right now we'll jump to the VS Code and we'll see the examples of if else statements.